I wanted to, this is sort of backwards, I'm doing this the end of the day versus the beginning, but I wanted to thank all of you who are helping to make this channel grow on YouTube and getting me closer and closer to the 1,000 viewers. So thank you all for sharing, liking, spreading the word so we get more subscribers. I think we're up to 700 and some now, which is really great. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Things have been going well. Haven't had any, issues, knock on wood. Work is fine. I have to do a little of accounting stuff this afternoon. Need to do some changing on some financials, not changing, but rearranging where the numbers go because client's trying to get a loan from the bank and the bank wants to see it done a certain way, so we'll just put the numbers into different places, so sort of spread them out. Not changing the end result, but they want to see them in a different way. So we're doing that. And I was going to talk to you, and we'll do that later at the end of the day. This thing, I don't know if you've seen that with Facebook and all that's been going on with them. And I think, well, I'll talk to you about that after, but I have strong feelings about that too. Well, I guess this is sort of the semi-end to the perfect day. There's a lot of things I had to deal with today, which, somewhat normal, but a lot of things. So I just got home. And I get home and I go in the house and I just walk in and I say, oh, great, wonderful. I forgot the laser level up there. So now I got to run back up to the job to pick up the laser level. I think it'll be fine, but it's like the day that doesn't end. You can see the roof's going really well. That part hasn't had any issues. I had a little nail issue this morning. I resolved that one, but I've still got a whole ton of roof on the back side of this building and that building to do, and I've got these two bundles and one more bundle down in the back. So that's going to be a little bit of an issue, but that's got to be dealt with. All right, next I got to see if I've got that. I got to pick up my laser level. All right. That'll be a nice view. just remembered this one. The other day, a guy came by who brought us balsamic vinegar. So I waved to him, and the boys said, "What, do you know every white person?" I said, "No, I know them. They brought me something, and I've known them for a little while." So I told them the names, Wally and Dave, and Wally and his wife Sharon came and brought us balsamic vinegar. So they said, "Oh, do you drink that with something or plain?" And I said, "No, it's balsamic vinegar. You don't drink it. You put it on salad and stuff." Oh, goodness. Well, back home again. I still have, let's see, weather to do, Instagram to do, today's video to do, or actually tomorrow's video to do, and fun paperwork. And it's only 5 o'clock. Plenty of time, right? I'm tired. Okay, I was going to talk to you about Facebook and social media and all that stuff. And it's somewhat concerning because I do a lot of it, of course. And I've done it for years, and it's always evolving. It's changed, I mean, from when I first started in 2007 or 6, I can't remember. It had just started when I started doing it. And if you've continued with it, you've seen the evolution of how it's gone. And one of the problems that I see coming up is that the big platforms like Google, Facebook, Twitter, all of those have had, well, Facebook and Twitter have had no accountability whatsoever. So anybody could set up an account, put anything there on there, and that would get put out. And people, being people, would just read it, take it on face value because it's on the internet. It must be true, right? So what we've seen happening, and if you've noticed lately, Facebook had this whole big issue coming up, and even Zuckerberg got on there talking about it. Because if these social media platforms don't start to somehow monitor the content they're putting out there to be factual and that kind of stuff, they're going to end up losing viewers because people are not going to view. If they lose viewers, well, that's too bad. But the other side to that is, if they don't start monitoring who's putting up what and how factual that information is, and people go away, they're going to start losing advertisers. Now that's where the trick is, because if they start losing advertisers, that's how they make their money. If there's no advertisers, or their advertising money drops dramatically because people aren't watching their platforms anymore or trusting what's in them, they're going to have a big problem. So, you know, there was a thing on Google not long ago with a guy named Logan Paul, who did this very poor taste video, which I won't get into. You can look up Logan Paul if you want to find out about that. But he had never been monitored. He's got, you know, millions of followers, all this kind of stuff. And he makes a wad of money from YouTube because of advertising. Well, because of that, advertisers started complaining to Google. Google had never really monitored YouTube a lot because it was one of those things that they just said, okay, well, people can put on what they want. But then when that comes down to advertising dollars, and the advertisers automatically go to this person and are automatically signed up kind of thing, unless they put restrictions, then they're advertising on this site that they don't want to be advertising on. So there was a big uproar. Now Google is getting more people involved in actual real eyes looking at content and deciding, oh no, that's doesn't go with our rules, that's offensive, that shouldn't be, blah blah blah. So the whole environment is going to change a lot, I think, coming up. And if it doesn't change a lot, then these big platforms are going to have some big problems. I mean, that's what I see. Facebook is now having issues that they've got to deal with. And of course, they don't want to have to deal with it because they say, oh, we're just a platform. Well, if people have faith in what they're doing, they'll advertise. If they don't think, they just let them put anything on there and people are going to go away, they're not going to advertise on that anymore. It's like any other thing. If you were advertising in a newspaper or magazine and nobody buys the magazine anymore, you're going to advertise there? No. So they've got to do something. And if they don't, they're going to disappear. So what they do, I don't know. Google's relatively safe because they've got a ton of money, and a lot of what they do is information, basically. You know, it's search stuff. But Facebook, anybody can put anything on, as we've seen with politics, all other kind of things. And I don't know what's going to happen. But there is going to be a change, I think you're going to see coming, where there's going to have to be some type of verification of what you're putting out there, where you got it from, sort of going in a full circle. Remember, if you're old enough, when news stories had to be verified and checked by other people to make sure that what had been said and everything else was factual and real? I think there's going to be, to some degree, that type of thing, that people will have to be a verified publisher, or stuff will have to be checked, so that there isn't all this nonsense that goes on there and making people distrust the network. But that's just my opinion. I think that's what's going to happen. So far I've been fairly right about other things, like I think 5 years or so ago I said video was going to be the main thing on Facebook, and it's pretty much the main thing on Facebook now, unless you have a weird stream. So I think these platforms are going to have to do something, otherwise they're going to lose viewers' trust. Viewers don't view, advertisers don't advertise, they're going to become dead issues.